It is the last Friday of July and we're gearing up to August, which is actually the month of drug overdose awareness. So later in the bulletin, we will be sitting down with a recovery expert to just try and unpack the other side of overdose. But right now, let's get to the stories that are making headlines. I'm Wakio Mzenge. Our sign language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Good evening and welcome to TV47 Prime. We start off with tragic news from Uasin Gishu, where 7 people, including secondary school students, have died in a grisly road accident near Band Forest in Uasin Gishu County. The Thursday night crash, which occurred at around 8 p.m., involved a trailer traveling from Nakuru to Eldoret and 2 other vehicles, including a PSV vehicle headed to Nairobi from Kakamega. According to Uasin Gishu County Police Commander Wilberforce Sicharani, several other passengers were injured and are receiving treatment at Band Forest Hospital, while those with critical injuries were referred to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret.
Mtoto wa shule. Hata amekuwa na familia yake.
That's quite tragic. A family in Mlolongo, Machakos County is demanding answers following the alleged abduction of their kin in circumstances they describe as disturbing and mysterious. The family claims that 38-year-old businessman Jimmy Mutevi disappeared after responding to a phone call they allege was made from the Officer Commanding Station, OCS, at Mlolongo Police Station. They believe he was abducted by 4 armed masked men who they suspect were police officers. The allegations have not been independently verified and police have not publicly responded to the family's claims. The incident comes amid growing public concern over reported cases of abductions across the country. Our reporter Samira Mohammed brings us the details.
An atmosphere of anguish, uncertainty and growing anger has engulfed this family home in Mlolongo. What was once a peaceful family residence has now become a meeting point for worried relatives, neighbors and friends, all united by one question: where is Jimmy Mutevi?
Na tuko na huzuni sana kama familia, hasa kwa watoto. Tunashindwa sasa, baba yetu anaweza potea mikononi mwa mtu mmoja wa serikali na ni OCS mwenye anaweza ingilia kati, ajue hata kama ameshikwa amepelekwa wapi na ameshikwa na akina nani,
amefichwa wapi, atolewe. Sisi tunaomba tu atolewe mahali yuko, apelekwe kotini tukapambane na mambo ya koti. Na isitoshe, Rais Ruto alisema mambo ya kutegwa nyara iliisha. Hii imetoka wapi? Mimi nashangaa sana. By the way, ni uchungu sana.
According to the family, Mutevi received a phone call on Monday evening from a person they believe was the Officer Commanding Station at Mlolongo Police Station. The family claims that after the call, Mutevi left to meet the officer at an entertainment spot within Mlolongo town, where 4 armed men wearing masks allegedly arrived and forcibly took him away.
Kapigiwa simu na OCS wa Mlolongo, kumwambia wapatane Biju Hotel. Kufika hapo akapata watu wamecrowd hapo. Akawauliza ni nini, akamwambia kuna mtu amechukuliwa hapa na double Kevin, nilikuwa na wanaume 4 wamejifunga mask. Na venye watu waliuliza ni nini shida, wakawaambia tuko kazi, tunafanya kazi yetu. Wakaviatua marisasi juu na wakamuingiza kwa gari wakaenda. Sasa ndio nikapigiwa simu nikaelezwa hivyo.
The family is now appealing to the government, the National Police Service and independent oversight agencies to urgently intervene, investigate the circumstances surrounding his disappearance and facilitate Mutevi's immediate release if he is being held.
Kama kweli yeye Jimmy Mutava alikuwa na makosa, wamproduce kwa koti, sheria ichukue mkondo wake, lakini si kuficha mtu. Hata familia injui yuko wapi, watoto wanalia. Ni vizuri hata wakijua ako prison amefungwa, familia injue ndugu yetu amefungwa, lakini sasa amefichwa wapi sasa?
Jimmy mahali yako, tunaomba kwamba akue salama na tuna demand aachiliwe huru. Kama ni makosa alifanya apelekwe kotini, makosa yake julikane. Sisi kama wananchi tuko na huzuni hapa na tunalia kwamba ako wapi mpaka saa hii.
Samira Mohammed for TV47 Nairobi.
Thank you, Samira Mohammed, for that report. And we carry on. Healthcare services remain disrupted across several counties as the nurses' strike in 22 counties enters its third day. However, there is hope for a breakthrough in Embu County after the County Assembly Speaker announced that an agreement had been reached with the striking nurses, with normal services expected to resume early next week. Quinto Wafula reports.
In Mombasa County, at the Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital, patients arrived expecting to receive various healthcare services, while some were attended to, others were left stranded due to the absence of nurses participating in the ongoing strike.
Hapa siwezi jua hii shida iko kwa county ama kwa serikali kuu. Mimi nimefuata huduma. Na ninapokosa huduma inakuwa ni tatizo kwangu, juu sio nitalilia nani.
Lakini wameniambia nikae kidogo hapo. Sasa mpaka siku nyingine, sasa sijajua vipi, sijajua kama wamegoma madaktari ama ni vipi.
The situation unfolded despite Mombasa Governor's appeal on Thursday urging the striking nurses to return to work. At the same time, he directed the County Public Service Board to immediately begin the recruitment of new nurses to address the ongoing go-slow and staffing shortages.
Mahakama ikiamua tunawaregesha, tunawaomba murejee kazini. Tena natumia lugha. Na situmii lugha hii kwa sababu nimekosa wafanyakazi, natumia lugha hii kwa sababu na wathamini walioko.
In Kwale County, the sub-county hospital remained largely deserted. Residents who turned up seeking treatment urged the relevant authorities to take swift action to resolve the standoff, saying they continue to bear the brunt of the healthcare disruption amid the high cost of living.
Hii kazi ya uuguzi ama kusomea kazi ya udaktari with the passion. So when I see this mgomo going around, I feel disheartened. And I feel like, did I choose the wrong course or what is it?
Wenye pesa pengine watakwenda private, wenye hawana.
Meanwhile, in Embu County, Manyata MP Gitonga Mukunji earlier accused the county government of failing to fulfill its responsibilities and instead choosing to politicize the nurses' strike.
Siasa gani na madaktari wako jiani wanasema wapewe mshahara yao? I think tuko na shida kubwa sana. Tulichagua governor ambaye ajui ile kazi anafaa kufanya.
However, following a closed-door meeting, Embu County Assembly Speaker Josiah Thiriku announced that the parties had reached an agreement. He said the county government had committed 241 million Kenya shillings to implement the 23 out of 24 nurses' demands, raising hopes that normal healthcare services will resume early next week.
Warudi kazini ili waweze kufanyia wananchi wetu kazi, na wametueleza kwamba Jumatatu watakuwa na mkutano na members wao waweze kuwaeleza.
Quinto Wafula, TV47.
Let's remain in matters health, where Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni has insisted that the government halted the establishment of an Ebola quarantine facility at the Laikipia Air Base following a directive by the High Court. The PS further stated that the Ministry of Health is not aware of anyone being quarantined at the facility. Elizabeth Atieno reports.
2 weeks after reports emerged alleging that 7 Americans had been quarantined at the Laikipia Air Base for close monitoring following an Ebola response mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni has dismissed the claims, insisting that the government is operating within the law.
On issue of Laikipia, really, we are people who follow the law. So when the court said that we stop, we stopped. And I do not have any further information of anything after that. Thank you.
According to the reports, the 7 Americans were placed under quarantine following Washington's new policy requiring U.S. citizens returning from the Democratic Republic of Congo to spend 3 weeks in a third country before entering the United States.
When you're quarantined, it doesn't mean you're sick. We are separating you from others because you've been exposed. Probably you've been a nurse, a doctor, or a healthcare worker who's been exposed to people who probably also had the disease.
Kenya is yet to record any Ebola case. As part of the country's emergency preparedness strategy, 23 isolation, preparedness and treatment facilities have been established nationwide to strengthen the response to any potential Ebola outbreak.
So when we talk about isolation centers and quarantine centers, how we would wish that we even have each in every county, so that should there be any outbreak in our country, then we are safe.
PS Muthoni was speaking during a national high-level stakeholders meeting on cross-border health emergency preparedness and response in Nairobi. The meeting, convened by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, and its partners, developed a roadmap for operationalizing the multi-country Memorandum of Understanding on cross-border cooperation, collaboration, and coordination in preparedness and response to public health emergencies such as Ebola and Mpox.
So essentially, this MOU is going to, enhance data sharing, among the countries, strengthens cross-border surveillance across the countries in order to, enhance preparedness and response to countries' capacities in responding to emerging epidemics.
The meeting comes just days after Uganda was declared Ebola-free on Tuesday. The Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus infected 20 people and claimed 2 lives during the outbreak.
According to the IHR, that is international health regulation, of course, countries are mandated to follow the guidelines and, of course, declare their status in terms of the outbreak.
Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo has recorded 3,442 Ebola cases and 1,521 deaths linked to the Bundibugyo strain of the virus. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Meanwhile, Kenya is yet to fully achieve the goals of Vision 2030 due to challenges including weak governance and political systems, according to Professor Gituro Wainaina, one of the architects of the development blueprint. Wainaina says the Kenya Kwanza government had a strong manifesto, but implementing its ideas has remained a challenge. Meanwhile, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has defended President William Ruto's new vision, saying it promises Kenyans a brighter and more dignified future.
President William Ruto has unveiled a new vision for Kenya beyond Vision 2030, outlining policies and strategies aimed at transforming the country into a high-income economy. However, experts say Kenya is yet to fully achieve the targets set under Vision 2030, which was anchored on 3 key pillars: economic, social, and political governance. Professor Gituro Wainaina, one of the architects of Vision 2030, says the Jubilee administration under former President Uhuru Kenyatta failed to maintain the momentum required to achieve the vision, with key targets remain unmet. He cites areas such as infrastructure development, the blue economy, and implementation of 2010 Constitution as some of the areas where progress was limited.
It was interesting because then was then president and then the deputy then were in charge of the Jubilee. And that is a very notable in terms of the vision transcending beyond political parties. You must reinforce the vision so that political parties don't come and mess it up.
On why Kenya has not achieved Vision 2030, one of the key pillars of Vision 2030 was the economic pillar, which sought to achieve a 10% average annual economic growth rate. The goal was to increase national prosperity and create large-scale employment opportunities through sectors such as agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, financial services, and technology. The social pillar focused on building a just, cohesive, and equitable society, living in a clean and secure environment. Its main objective was to improve the overall quality of life for all citizens through investments in education, healthcare, housing, water, and sanitation, and social development. The third pillar, the political pillar, focused on strengthening a democratic, issue-based, and people-centered political system. Its goal was to establish transparent, accountable, and result-oriented governance structures anchored on the rule of law and protection of citizens' rights. Professor Gituro argues that Vision 2030 gained momentum because leaders were actively involved, with government institutions and individuals assigned specific roles in driving its implementation.
And the Vision 2030 was, in terms of implementation, was broken into what we call medium-term plans. We used to call them development plan, 5 years. So the first medium-term plan was 2008 to 2012. But it's not a very interesting point how we do those 5 years and the political cycle in this country. The reason why we crafted that, and I really appreciate my friend Stephen Wainaina taking us through and agreeing on that, was to give any political party, any political elite who comes to power, they have to keep course of the vision, but there could be certain things they want within their manifesto, and they can use that opportunity.
President Ruto's newly unveiled Vision Beyond Vision 2030 is expected to be driven by three main pillars: agricultural productivity and high-value agro-processing, industrialization through intensive manufacturing for regional exports, and a technology and innovation-driven economy. The technical working group led by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's colleague Professor Anyang' Nyong'o has proposed strategies aimed at transforming Kenya into a first-world nation through increased productivity and innovation. The agricultural pillar proposes supporting farmers through incentives that increase productivity while removing policy barriers affecting the sector. The technology pillar seeks to accelerate digital transformation, invest in artificial intelligence and innovation, strengthen skills and research, and expand funding for innovation.
Every institution of our republic, every county and every generation, leaders from political parties, the private sector, workers' organizations, faith communities, universities, professional associations, innovators, civil society, our creative industry, and above all, our young people will be at the center.
The Anyang' Nyong'o-led technical working group says the transformation can be achieved through a merit-based public service, investment in human capital, development of productive infrastructure, stronger financial systems, and deeper devolution. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has defended President Ruto's vision beyond Vision 2030, saying it provides Kenyans with a pathway towards a brighter and more dignified future. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Paul Kirobi. Now, the Law Society of Kenya has renewed its call for greater accountability within the judiciary, warning that corruption allegations, unexplained delays, and administrative inefficiencies continue to undermine public confidence in the justice system. The Society has urged the Judicial Service Commission to fast-track reforms, strengthen oversight, and take decisive action against misconduct to ensure Kenyans access timely, fair, and impartial justice.
We've also told them our concerns about the growing corruption menace in the judiciary, the challenges of court inefficiencies, and the problems that many Kenyans who go to the courts on a daily basis are suffering and are facing because of judiciary inefficiencies. And we've asked them to commit to address these challenges immediately and without fail. Finally, we want to indicate that the Law Society of Kenya is undertaking these actions not at the behest of any particular party, but because we have listened to the cry of Kenyans and of our members, the lawyers, who have been finding continuous deterioration in some services within the judiciary.
The Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Rebecca Miano, accompanied by Kenya Wildlife Service Director General Professor Erastus Kanga, led this year's World Ranger Day celebrations at Mwakitau in Tsavo West, Taita Taveta County. The event honored the critical role played by rangers in wildlife conservation and the growth of Kenya's tourism sector. Delivering President William Ruto's message, CS Rebecca Miano commended rangers, describing them as green warriors for their dedication to protecting Kenya's natural heritage and contributing to economic growth through tourism. KWS Director General Professor Erastus Kanga also praised the rangers and their families for their commitment and sacrifice, pledging continued efforts to improve their welfare and working conditions. Taita Taveta Governor Andrew Mwadime recognized the rangers' role in promoting peaceful coexistence between communities and wildlife. He also urged the tourism CS to fast-track the implementation of President William Ruto's directive on artisanal mining in designated parks areas and address the Tsavo carbon credit program to increase local revenue.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, President William Ruto, has fittingly described our rangers as Kenya's green warriors, and today he has sent me with his regards and goodwill on this your day. And the title that he gives you, Green Warriors, reflects your courage, professionalism, and commitment. You, as guardians, confront dangerous wildlife, armed criminals, punishing terrain, and harsh weather to ensure that Kenya remains one of the world's premier wildlife conservation havens.
Let's fast track that carbon credit because, you know, when we're gonna get about this 22,000 square kilometers of this park to put a carbon credit and apportioned according to the landmass, me as a governor right now, I'm facing challenge because our equitable share is too little. Our population can increase, but we have forfeited it to the Kenya Wildlife Services. To every wildlife ranger serving across Kenya, whether you are in Kenya Wildlife Service, whether you are in the conservancies, whether you are in the forest, I say thank you to you all. When you took your oath of allegiance, you committed yourself to protecting this nation's wildlife heritage. And today, I want to remind you that your work is not in vain.
On our business stories is that Safaricom has unveiled its Pata More campaign, a new customer rewards initiative aimed at delivering greater value through enhanced data offers, mobile money transfers, and improved digital connectivity across the country. The campaign will see customers enjoy double data bundles, higher Pochi la Biashara transaction limits, enhanced home fiber packages, and special connectivity bundles for boda riders and drivers. Launched at Kangundo Road Market in Nairobi, the initiative also seeks to empower small businesses, support digital learning among students, and help content creators expand their online reach as it rolls out across the country.
As a Safaricom responsible company, we said we need to come and respond to the cry of the Kenyans that they want value in terms of what we are offering to them. Every time we talk to our customers, they say they want more value. That means in terms of NPS also, it will be improved in terms of the customers now recommending more of Safaricom products. Customers were getting 10 GB for 1,000 Kenya shillings for 30 days. That has been more than doubled because for 1,000 Kenya shillings, you will now get 21 GB. That means you will be able to do more for the same value that you are paying.
Mbeleni, customer akilipa pale, mtu akilipa kwa shilingi let's say 0 to 100 ilikuwa free. Sasa hii kwa Pata More, hiyo imeweza kupelekwa mpaka 200. Kwa hivyo customer atakuwa anaweza kuweza kutransact zaidi bila malipo kutoka kwa 100 mpaka 200. Hiyo yote customer atakuwa analipa kitu kwa sana wale wanatumia pochi.
Meanwhile, EcoBank Kenya has announced plans to expand support for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises through tailored financing, digital banking solutions and strategic partnerships, I beg your pardon, aimed at improving access to capital and business development services. The lender says the initiative seeks to address financing challenges facing the sector, which contributes about 34% of Kenya's GDP. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the announcement was made during an SME engagement forum held in Nairobi.
SME gap
the SME financing gap in Kenya are actually mind-boggling. So there's actually a gap of 19 billion US dollars, and this is a report by IFC in financing for SMEs. So you can imagine, for you who's seated here, what that means, and the one who's not in this room, and the one who intends to start.
They say 99% of ideas and plans fail because of execution. Execution is 99% of the work. Anybody can come up with an idea, and I think you guys know it, and you grow your businesses. And entrepreneurs love new ideas. Oh my goodness, shiny toys. AI, inakuja. And then we go this way, and then we go that way, and we go the other way. Think about McDonald's, Starbucks. All these can be run by not even a college graduate. You ask for that job when you're actually studying your degree. Why? Because they've systemized it, they've documented it, and they've made it so simple that a college student can understand it.
And Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has launched a plan to more than double Kenya's Bixa production by increasing the number of growers and expanding raw material supply to match the country's 3,000-ton annual processing capacity. The initiative, to be implemented alongside the Agriculture and Food Authority and coastal counties, aims to create thousands of jobs, raise rural incomes, and boost exports. Farmers will receive certified seedlings, extension services, cooperative support, and access to affordable financing.
Mambo ya ukulima ni hapa. Na mimi ile kazi nimepatika ni mambo ya nini? Ukulima. Ni mambo ya ukulima, lakini katika hiyo kazi ile kitu muhimu ni kuweka pesa mfuko wa mkulima. Mfuko wa mkulima. That's my job. Hiyo ndio kazi yangu. Ndio sababu unaniona hapa. Na mimi nasema hata hawa wakurugenzi na waambia huyu ni mmea wa Bixa. Hapo juu iko mmea wa sukari. Kwingineko iko mmea wa maembe, si ndio? Na mambo kama hayo. Lakini mjue ya kwamba hiyo kazi yote, hiyo mimea yote na mambo kama hayo ni ya kusaidia mtu kibinafsi. Maisha, kuweza kuendeleza maisha yako, kulipa school fees, kulipa ile ingine, kulipa SHA, kulipa nini, hiyo ndio ile kitu ya mwisho na ya mwanzo.
And now let's get sporty. Harambee Starlets suffered another setback at the 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON after losing 1-0 to Senegal in their second Group A match at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat, Morocco on Thursday. The defeat leaves Kenya facing an uphill task to reach the knockout stages following a heavy 4-0 loss to host Morocco in their tournament opener on Sunday. Harambee Starlets head coach Beldine Odemba made 4 changes to her starting lineup following the opening defeat. The Starlets will now face a must-win clash against Algeria on the 3rd of August as they fight to reach the knockout stage in their second ever WAFCON appearance.
Okay. Wa physique kidogo, lakini sidhani kama kuna kitu wametuzidi nayo. Kila kitu tumekuwa juu yao. Sababu ukiangalia mchezo, tumepata chances mingi kuwashinda. Ni vile tu haijakubali.
Lose, but moyo vunjiki, tunaendelea kufight kwa sababu tuko na chance ya kucheza na Algeria next game. Na our heads are high and we are going to fight again.
It's an improvement. They did a little bit well. You can't compare the first match. When we went down in the first match, we went down, and it was really difficult to bring the players back to fight.
What changed, I would say that we scored today. We couldn't score the last game, and there is also a lot of solidarity today. It was hard at some point, but we keep going, and we was here when it was tough, and I think that it was the most important thing today.
Meanwhile, Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia returned to winning ways with a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Djibouti's CFGR in their final Group A match of the 2026 Sekafa Kagame Cup. The result secured Gor Mahia top spot in the group with 6 points and a superior goal difference. Despite finishing level on points with Vipers SC and APR FC, Kogalo advanced as group winners courtesy of their better goal difference. In the other Group A fixture, host APR FC defeated Vipers SC 2-1, but the result was not enough to deny Gor Mahia first place in the standings. Action continues today in Group B with the Singida Black Stars taking on Simba SC, while Jamus SC faces Mogadishu City as teams battle for places in the knockout stage. And that sports news brings us to a break. Let's take a sip of some water. And when we come back, we are joined by Willis, the words master on Which is Which, and a lovely conversation on the other side of Overdose. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.